All right, guys, welcome back. 1776 or bust. On the table, you see this. Now, I've made a few videos already. This is not overkill, so don't. I'm not trying to, I guess you could say, abuse the fact that I have a 320X carry. But I did want to show this to you because it's an upgrade that I just did not too long ago, actually, just a couple of days, and it actually has something to do with the grip module. Now, the grip module is probably, in my opinion, one of the things on this particular model that I noticed right away was maybe not so great. Now, it's not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's very ergonomic in the hand, but I did absolutely tell people that somebody with a smaller hand might not actually like this because of how thick the bottom portion of the grip module was. Again, you have this nice little cutout here for your middle finger, so you can definitely get a nice purchase. It kind of brings your finger up a little bit more, thus getting in you a little bit of a higher feel for the gun, even though the slide ride's high anyway. But at the same time, another thing I said was that the Beaver Tail, while it is very nice as well, it is kind of angled very wide at the sides of it, and then eventually it's a little bit further extended. I think that's something with Sig. They just like making huge beaver tails on their handguns. Other than that, I said the gun is fantastic. There was no real issues with it. I mean, out of the box, everything was pretty solid. The trigger was really good out of the box. The night sights, albeit they are sitting a little bit low on the slide, are fairly good with those X-ray sights. And, overall, the ergonomics were good, with the exception that this may not be the best for everyone. So I did a little digging, and I was looking around at some, other options out there. Somebody actually reached out and mentioned something from Wilson Combat. So, of course, I had already looked at those, and I was actually talking to them to see if maybe, just maybe by luck, I could get a set for my 320X carry, but I did pay for it, and that's okay because it's really not that costly. I think they run about $55. Some might say, wow, that's a lot of money. But keep in mind also, guys, that, when you go out and buy a Glock or an M&P, you're going to spend a little bit more to try to make that gun just right. With this gun out of the box, the trigger's solid, the sights are solid. The only thing that might need to be upgraded is this grip module. So I did purchase one, and here's the box, Wilson Combat. So that's kind of nice. But let me show you what it looks like. Boom. So that's what my new P320X carry looks like. And you can see that there is a striking difference between two of the modules. Again, this is a lot more rounded versus this one, which is a little bit blockier. And I will do some close-ups so you guys can see definitely what I'm talking about. Other than that, the slide sits on there perfectly. There is no issue. Again, the gun is empty. Everything locks back the way it needs to with the magazine in there. I made sure that everything worked properly. And I got to say, everything feels really nice and smooth with this. Now, to kind of give you more of an up-close look, what you're going to notice is there are some striking differences, like I said. The first being the pattern or the texturing that they're using on the side. So if you're familiar with a lot of the Wilson Combat items that are out there, they do make G10 grips that they put on a lot of their firearms, the 1911s, and of course also some of their Berettas. But what you're going to notice also, though, is that this resembles a lot of that pattern in regards to those G10 grips. Now, overall, when you take a look at it even closer, it does look like there are some ridges here. But I would say to you that while it does kind of give you a little bit of bite on your hand, it is a little bit slick. Now, is it slick to the point where the gun, as you're shooting it, is somehow going to go like that? No, it's definitely not. Not to mention the most important parts when you're holding your gun are the front and the back, at least in my opinion, and that's where this really shines. So you can see that the back texturing is a lot more grippy. It is very, very similar to what I would say is the M&P 2.0 feel. It is a little bit thicker in regards to the way this is done. And also on the front, you can see it's right there where your fingers are. And of course, it is, again, smooth at the top for your middle finger. So you can see there is a bigger undercut here. As a matter of fact, if you look at this one here, you only see a very small, it doesn't extend forward. This one actually extends a little bit more forward right here in the front of the gun. Also, you're going to notice that the front trigger guard, and let me put these down. Let me see if I can zoom in. Hopefully this will come in pretty well for you guys. But one of the things you're also going to notice is that the trigger guard on the old P320X carry module has, of course, a place for you to rest your fingers with the ridges here as well. So if you are one of those shooters who do that, that's going to give you a little bit better of a grip on the gun, whereas the new module from Wilson Combat does not have it. It's more rounded and it's smooth, so you don't have that option if you do shoot it. I mean, could you get away with it? Yes, but it might slip a little bit more versus this one here. So if that's the type of shooter you are, that might be a drawback. One of the other things that is noticeable also is the Pic Rail. The Pic Rail on this, you can see there's 1, 2, 3 slots available. So you have all of this room here that they didn't use anything for. Again, I'm not sure why that is. That might be just a designing thing. Somebody might know what it is. Maybe it's a tactical thing. I don't know. But what you are going to see on the Wilson Combat is you get one additional slot for the pic rail, so it extends further back. Also, you can see the front, while there is a cutout here and there's a cutout there. One of the things that I definitely noticed was that the edge on this right here is much more beveled than on the original grip, if you can see that there. So you're going to notice that beveled edge comes back a little bit further. Allegedly, that makes holstering and unholstering your gun a little bit easier as well. So, I mean, overall, what do you have? You have a gun that was really good out of the box, and this grip, I think, makes it a little bit better. The Beaver Tail, while there is an extended Beaver Tail, just to kind of give you guys an idea, this one obviously rounds up a little bit more. This one is straight back, and obviously you can see the difference in size. So this one is, I think, again, more rounded, a little bit smoother, less edgy, whereas this one comes out a little bit thicker and also extends out a little bit further. You also do have this ledge right here. So many of you who have shot this gun, a lot of times what you do is you're going to be resting your thumb there versus somewhere else. And again, does that work for this? Well, it does. You can see the ledges there. Some people may want to ride that right in between the slide release and the ledge. To me, that's where it really feels the most comfortable. But again, your miles may vary. You may do differently. It's up to you. The mag release comes installed, so that's kind of cool. So you don't really have to do anything, and it works very well. So here's the Sig Magazine, and it comes right out. So the ejection of the mag is very positive, and that's a very good thing as well. One of the other features you're going to see here is the actual mag well. So let me put these down together so you can see them, hopefully. So as you see right here, the magwell is wider and it's beveled. So what's going to happen is, well, again, allegedly, is you're going to be able to get a quicker mag dump and then basically drop the mag, throw the mag in very easily as it follows in very nicely. Whereas the old Sig module, while it is a very thick opening, again, there's no real anything there. I mean, it's just smooth and rounded. Whereas this one, you can see, has the lip there, which should allow you to get a very easy magazine insertion into your handgun, just like that. Boom. Nice looking thing. So overall, I mean, what are my thoughts? I think it's very apparent that for me, this works really well. The thickness is also very different. Whoops. As you guys can notice, or hopefully notice, is that when you look at the grips, while they look almost the same, what you're going to notice is that the grip on the right, which is the new one from Wilson Combat, actually is a lot more rounded. It is much more rounded than this one. This one kind of has an optical illusion because this looks like it's very rounded, but it's not. It's actually squared off, and then it's a very blocky feel. Almost Glock-esque, I guess you could say, but not as dramatic. Whereas this one, you can see, is very rounded. It's rounded the entire way around. So once you get that grip on there, the grip feels a little bit smaller, and the reason being is because this area here is more rounded than blocky. Your support hand, again, as you can see, your support hand has plenty of real estate to get on there and be able to get a nice grip on that handgun. And honestly, guys, it feels really nice in the hand. While this may not feel that great in regards to giving you that good bite, I can definitely attest that the front and the back does the job that you're going to need it to do. You get a very nice feel for it, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be moving much when you're shooting the handgun. Overall, I've got to say it's a big improvement. For those of you who like this model of handgun, this alone to me is probably the first and potentially only upgrade that this gun will need. Again, the trigger out of the box was really good, even though I'd thrown an Apex in there, but that's me. The sights are decent. I mean, they're not anything like perfect, but they are fairly good. So that's a positive. That's not an upgrade you need to do. But I would say that if you are wanting to do something with the grip, the Wilson Combat grip is probably the one that I would recommend at this point because it's really the only one I have at this point. Overall, I think it is a must when it comes to this handgun for a lot of different people. I think the ergonomics improve slightly. I think the Beaver Tail being shorter is better, at least for me, because it is more rounded. And I think a lot of the edges that you see, or maybe a lot of the squares that you see on this, disappear very quickly with a lot of improvement. Polymer-wise, it does feel very, very rigid. It does not feel like it's squishy at all. Some polymers, obviously, you get, and you can definitely bend them, although I would say that this Sig polymer is pretty good. Also, the markings that you can put on this with your fingernail, I didn't really check it out, and I'm going to see if I can do this here. Let's see what happens. There are no marks on there. So to me, that's even another bonus because it does seem like the polymer is just a little bit better finishing on it than the original. So I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Tell me what you think about this. Is this something that you think would be worthwhile? I mean, for $55, this might be the only real upgrade you need to do. And I have to say, it is an absolute huge improvement from the way the gun felt initially. So I can't wait to get this out and test it, because honestly, I didn't shoot it that well the first time, and I definitely want to do better the next time. Overall, very happy, very pleased. Giving a big shout out to Wilson Combat, because they did a really nice job on this grip module. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Stay safe, and as always, everyone, freedom is never free.